D-Lo 404 Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. So the criticism is coming in. You know, Deontay Wilder decided to take the fight with Dominic Breazeale on Showtime Network. 100% his choice. It's what he said he wanted to do. Decided he didn't want the fight to be on pay-per-view. Decided it wasn't a pay-per-view worthy fight, and he wanted to treat the fans to a heavyweight title defense on regular Showtime. You know, as for the kind of money he's being paid, who knows? You know, if they want to make that public, they will. If they don't, they don't have to. I mean, of course, naturally they're gonna advertise a fight purse for him and Breazeale. But as we all know with PBC, you never know what the back end money is these guys are getting, even without it being on pay-per-view. You know, so you know, that's something for the haters to worry about. As for all the talks that Deontay Wilder's ducking fights with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and that him deciding to stay with Showtime, especially if it's a long-term deal or a multi-fight deal, even say it's 2-3 fight deal, that the rumblings are out there that Deontay Wilder is somehow ducking Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury and preventing these fights from happening. But let's not forget that Tyson Fury is the one who decided to run off from negotiations and almost a signed, sealed, and delivered fight to go over to ESPN and sign with Top Rank, and you know, go over there and fight with whatever fighters are available and whatever fights can be made over on ESPN. You got, you know, and the thing is, Tyson Fury has fought on Showtime already, so he decided to, you know, go over to ESPN and see what he can do over there. You got Anthony Joshua, who fought on Showtime multiple times, whilst never doing the type of numbers on Showtime that Deontay Wilder was doing in terms of viewership, in which the same could be said for Tyson Fury. Neither did he. But he decided that he wants to fight on DAZN. Whether that's a long-term deal or whether it's a fight-by-fight thing, he fought Povetkin on DAZN. Now he's fighting Jarrell Miller on DAZN. He took himself off of Showtime. He and his promoter. So Deontay Wilder is the man who stayed put on the network that they all were fighting on, but somehow it's his fault that if the networks are the problem, it's his fault that the fights can't get made. And I've said multiple times, anyone who watches my videos with regularity know that how I feel about fighters and promoters saying that the networks are the reason they can't make the fights. Same as I feel about fighters saying that promoters are the reason that fights can't be made. If these guys want these fights, they'll find a way to make the fights happen. They'll push their teams to work together to make the fights happen. And if they want to make the fights happen, they'll find some neutrality, some commonality to make these fights come together. It's not that hard. It's not unprecedented. It's not like it hadn't been done throughout the history of boxing. These guys got to stop hiding behind these excuses not to make these fights. As for guys doing what they feel like is best for their careers, best for their finances, best for their families, or whatever, I'm all for that. I'm not gonna sit here and say that, you know, these guys need to be turning down big purses just to satisfy the fans. I'm not gonna say that, because at the end of the day, you know, when these guys' careers are over, and if they hadn't managed their money well, and if they find themselves in financial straits, you know, dire straits financially, the fans aren't gonna come bail them out. So, you know, they have to do what's best for their careers. I mean, that's just like me. I mean, in my profession, I'm not struggling. I'm not starving. I'm happy with what I make. Would I love to make more? Of course. So, if another company called me and told me, we'll pay you double what you're making now to do the exact same thing you're doing, I'd have to listen to it. You know, but there's a lot more to working than just the money. So I'd have to listen to everything that comes along with that. You know, so I'm not gonna blame anyone for taking their finances in their own hand and saying that I got to do what's best for me and my family and so forth and so on. But as a boxing fan, I definitely want to see, there's certain fights out there that I want to see. There's certain fights out that I almost feel that they're owed to the boxing fans. You know, it's like when you're loyal to these fighters and loyal to these networks and, you know, so forth and so on, and you're constantly tuning in, you're constantly paying the pay-per-views, you want to feel like you're getting something back every once in a while. So I will say that I greatly appreciate the fact that the Dominic Wilder, or I said I was going to call him Dominique, like Wilder calls him, Dominique Wilder, the Dominique Brazil Deontay Wilder fight is not on Showtime pay-per-view. So I'll gladly save that $49.99, $59.99, $75.99, whatever, and not have to pay it toward that fight, and I'll be happy about that. But I would have been, I'd have been willing to pay to see the fight, as would have a lot of other people that I've heard mention, you know, that their willingness to pay for it. But that said, I'm not going to ask anybody to take my money if I don't have to give it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm already paying for a Showtime subscription every month, so I'll be glad to watch it on Showtime without having to fork over another, you know, $50, $60, $70 or what have you. But, you know, to sum it all up, all I want to say is that if the networks become the problem, if the networks are allowed to be the roadblock and the problem for why the fight can't be made, Deontay Wilder is the last guy who should be catching flack or being blamed for that. Because at the end of it all, as far as U.S. networks go, all three of those fighters that I mentioned, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder, were all fighting on Showtime at some point or another. So the two guys that took themselves off of Showtime and decided they wanted to go in a different direction, if you want to place blame on somebody for these fights not being made, blame those guys. Don't blame the guy that's still with the network. And even if he leaves and goes elsewhere, if these fights can't be made, don't blame him. He stayed loyal to the network that all three of them were on until the other two guys were completely gone. So, you know, don't blame him if the fights can't be made. But like I said, there's no excuse for these fights not to be made. They can be made, and they should be made, and I'm holding out hope that they will be made. But, you know, we've seen Wilder Fury. We were excited about the rematch. Fury ran off. So now I'm back on my want to see Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua get it on. And if it's a rematch, I'll be eager to see that again. And Tyson Fury can wait in line because he had his shot and he ran off. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. It's D-Lo404 Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Shout out to my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I ask that you please subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Drop a comment in the comment section. Hit that like button for me. Again, it's D-Lo404 Boxing. I'm out. Peace.